Summation to eDiscovery is like DOS to computers. Summation was the tool when data processing was not a thing. Summation is a legal documents database that was designed to handle paper documents that were scanned with stiff images and manually created records that were also manually coded. Summation was around and the legal industry was only comfortable handling documents in paper format, which would come in banker boxes. In a small to large size law firm, there would be either a vendor or a scanning station with a person who has the skills of identifying the beginning and the end of the document, and that same person, a legal assistant or a law clerk, we call them eDiscovery specialists now, they would be creating records and objectively coding documents such as document type, memorandum, document date, January 1st, 2001, author, recipient, copy. The challenge came for Summation around 2004 when printing and then scanning emails was no longer an acceptable course of action. When the USB with emails came to me in 2004, I simply loaded those documents into Summation and essentially creating eDocs. And this is when Summation limitations started to surface. Apparently, you can only have up to 300 fields in a given case, which was a huge problem for mixed cases with paper and electronic files. We had to find a way to consolidate author, recipient, copyee with to, from, CC. Now, objectively coded documents means the person had to manually enter what is now known metadata. But that is not metadata. You only get metadata from electronically loaded documents. And a can of worms got opened up. Another challenge happened as the databases started growing in size. When in 2001, a large database would be 2,000 to 10,000 documents. In 2004, I worked on a case with 600,000 documents. We ended up splitting that document collection into 3 cases to expedite searching. Because another Summation limitation came to light when we realized that on a document size of 150,000 documents, a simple keyword search runs for 5 minutes. The same search in 250 documents case runs for 10 minutes. Now imagine what happened when you misspelled the keyword. The entire system stalled. You couldn't do any operation until the system finishes the search, comes up with 0 results, and you can start over. At that time, in Canada at least, not a lot of cases had such large document collections. So the legal industry in Canada was able to stall until at least early 2010. But at that point, Summation was so far behind the 8th ball that I don't think it was ever able to recover. Even when they moved their offering to the cloud and created Summation Pro, there were quite a few limitations and most importantly, loss of goodwill. Now, Summation had exceptional features. One of them is Summation Briefcase, which allowed you to take a subset of documents exactly as they stand in the case at a given time, take it to a mobile device, at that time it was laptop, make changes to the documents, add highlighting, replace document description, add attorney notes, and then upon return to the office, the lawyer had an ability to merge the changes to those documents with the large case. Well, it was a fantastic feature, except that now we're so mobile, comfortable tethering from the phone, that there is no need to take a subset of documents, work on it remotely, and then reload them. All of those are extra steps. Summation was also great at handling transcripts. You could add highlighting and hyperlinks to documents. It was a great feature for handling and demonstrating exhibits. However, since then, other players came into play and took that original idea. The truth is, it was a great tool at the right time. They simply did not enhance their searching capabilities and handling various formats of data as we're dealing with right now. If someone tells you that they started doing eDiscovery when Summation was around, that dates them back to early 2000s. Those people could also probably tell you what a facsimile is. I'm allowed to make that joke because I am one of those cool people. If you still have a case in Summation and you're considering your options, reach out to Wisdom. We have played at many sandboxes, and maybe we could find a more suitable home for your documents.